everyone, it's been a long time. Welcome back to Cooking with Steph. Today we are going to core and peel some apples with my apple peeler corer. It's simple. You can drag it. You put your apple on here, bottom, the blossom side, stick it onto your prongs, and then you just turn and it peels and cores your apple. And then you have apples. And we're going to toss them into here. We're going to fill this up to make apple butter in our crock pot. And then we are also going to fill this one to make applesauce. I got, I think, 40 pounds of apples I'm going to do. I may not do them all today, but we'll see. We'll get started. We'll do this for a little bit. Oops. Came undone from my counter. It's just a little suction cup. Holds it down. There we go. It's the easiest way I found to do this. These sometimes get hard to pull off though. And for the apple butter, you don't have to worry about a little bit of skin in there because it will cook. You're going to cook the apple butter for almost 24 hours or pretty close to it. So it's not going, the peels are not going to mean anything. So we're just going to keep doing this until we get both of our pans filled up. And then we will be back. Alright, welcome back. We are on our last two apples here. And then we will get everything added to our pans and get it started. So I am saving my peels, but I am tossing my cores. So that is 40 pounds of apples. So we're gonna clean this up. Maybe if I can get it off the counter. There we go. Get our work surface wiped down a little here. It's all full of apple juice and so I ended up with a crock pot. I don't know if, I think mine might be like a 6 or 8 quart crock pot. I'm not quite sure. It's a bigger one. Full of apples. My stock pot full of apples that I showed you. And then I also got this big metal bowl. About, I would say 3/4 of the way full of apples. So, quite a bit of apples. I am going to take this stock pot, or this bowl of apples, and I'm going to cut them all in half so that they're half moons. I'm going to stick them in a freezer bag and put them in the freezer for a later date because I don't have time today to process all my apples. I saved all my peels in this bowl. All my cores are thrown away because they have the seeds, and the seeds, if you boil them, are not good for you. I am going to boil all of these peels to make apple scrap jelly. We're going to turn it into some apple jelly for later. I'm also going to freeze that until I have time to do my apple jelly. Take you along with me on that. So we are going to take our crock pot right here. We're going to add some lemon juice to this and about a cup of sugar. So I don't measure my lemon juice. I just kind of squirt it over it. It's just to help keep it from browning too much. It's probably about, I don't know, 4 tablespoons. And then we'll get a 1 cup measuring cup for my sugar here. And we will measure out about a cup here. Looks like that's about all I got. Sprinkle that over. I only put a little bit of my sugar into my apple butter to start. When I cook it overnight, I'll cook it on low. Starting now through the morning, I will stir it before I go to bed. And then it'll go until morning. And I will send the immersion blender through it to blend it up. I will add the rest of my sugar and my cinnamon to it. And sometimes I put clove or allspice in it. Depends on my mood. We will cook it on low for another 6 hours after I immersion blend it until we get the consistency we want. So I'm going to take my pot of apples that I'm going to make my applesauce. And again, we're going to add, in this pot, I'll probably add about 6 to 8 tablespoons of lemon juice, just because this is a lot of apples. This is probably about 15 pounds-ish, maybe, of apples. And then I will add sugar to this. I will add, for this pot, I add about 2 cups to start. I will have to get some more sugar. So I will add 2 cups to this. And I will cook it on the stove for about 2-3 hours on a medium-low heat, stirring every 20 to 30 minutes. And then when we get to that first 20 to 30 minute mark of stirring, I will come back and show you what it looks like. So we have it on low. It's been going for about 20 minutes. We're gonna give it a little stir. I put 2 cups of sugar and 1 cup of water just to help it start. Because it's on low, it's gonna take a long time to heat through, so I think, got a couple seeds in there. I think I'm going to turn it up just a little bit to get it going. And then we will check on it here in about half an hour. Over here, I got this going. I set it for 20 hours on low. And it's just going to go until morning. It is currently 6:10 p.m. I had it for 20 hours. It's at 17 now, so it's been almost in there for 2 hours. Alright, so it's been about an hour, and this is what it looks like. It's bubbling away. I got it about on medium heat. I'm going to take the lid off now that it's good and bubbly, and I'm going to let it cook down a little bit because there's a lot of liquid in it. So we're going to let some of that liquid evaporate off, and then we'll run it through the food mill and jar it. This is the food mill. We're making the apples that have been cooking in the pot for about 2.5 hours. We're taking them and milling them down into applesauce, and you can see the consistency of the applesauce below is applesauce. So here's our apple butter after 18 hours on low in the crock pot. We're going to send this immersion blender through it. Once I get this to a nice smooth consistency with the immersion blender, I will come back and add all of the goodies. Alright, so here is the apple butter in its glory. And we are going to take and stir in. We'll use a little whisk here. See, it's nice and smooth. We're going to take and stir in some sugar. We're going to do, we did 1 cup to cook it with. We're going to add 1 more cup. This is a 1/2 cup measure. We're going to stir that in. Let it melt in there. And I always do mine, so we're at 2 cups now. I always do mine to taste. I never, sugar is evil to me. I don't like things overly sweet. And then we are going to add in some spices. We're going to be using a teaspoon. We're going to do a teaspoon of clove. A teaspoon of, no, we're going to do a 1/2 teaspoon of allspice. A 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg. And then we are going to do, because I love cinnamon, and I always put a lot of cinnamon in my stuff, we're going to start with 2 tablespoons of cinnamon. We're going to stir all this in. I know it looks like a lot, but this is a lot of apple butter. Alright, now we're going to get a spoon and we're going to give this a taste. See where we're at and what we need to add.
And then
it needs about another cup of sugar. There's a 1/2. There's 1. We'll give this a stir, and then we're going to turn it back on. But this time, I'm going to turn it on to high for 2 hours. And I'm going to stir it occasionally. And then we will give it another taste after everything's really melded together. Okay, so our applesauce is done. I got my lids boiling here. They have boiled. I turned them down so they would stay warm. Got my clean jars here and my funnel. We're gonna fill these jars up with about 1 inch of headspace, which would be to this line right here. And then we will put the lids on, screw them down, put them on our water bath. And I believe we water bath them for 20 minutes, but I will check on that. I will have to grab my canning book. So we're just gonna fill these jars with our applesauce. So I did not end up adding anything else to the applesauce, just that 1 cup of sugar that we started with. It is delicious and there is no need to add it. And I'm doing these in pint jars. And these pint jars are like 2 cups, I think is what they are. If I remember right, my canner over here only holds 7. Set that aside. And we're going to wipe our rims. Just to make sure we didn't get anything on them. Got them to seal properly. We don't want anything on them. Okay. And we're going to take a lid. These are super hot, so be careful when you're pulling them out of boiling water. I'm using a magnet, but you can use a pair of tongs. Just make sure you just get 1 lid. Then we're going to get our rings, wherever our rings went. We're going to put a ring on each one of these. And when you screw these down, you only want to do them finger tight. Turn our lids off for now. Set this down finger tight. And we're going to place them in our canner. Since this is cold applesauce, I just have some. It looks like it can fit 8, so we'll do one more jar. We'll wipe this rim. One more lid out of our hot boiling water. And another ring. Get this popped into the canner. And we want to make sure there's an inch of water covering our jars. Looks like I'm short just a little bit. Alright. Get our lid on our canner. I am using my electric pressure canner and water bath canner just because it is super hot out and I don't want that. So I am going to double check our times and then I'm going to water bath can it for, I believe it's 20 minutes. So I have my applesauce jars in. We're going to put the lid on, lock it. We're going to turn this and lock it. We're going to turn this to boiling water can. And it's going to be for 20 minutes. We're going to hit start. It'll say filled insert jars, which we did. It's going to warm. Because my applesauce was already cold, I'm going to warm it with the water so that it does not break the jars. And then I will tell it to go, and when it's done water bathing and we pull them out, I will see you then. Okay, y'all. I forgot to film taking them out, but so that's what the applesauce looks like. And this is what that apple butter looks like. So thanks for doing canning with me. Have a great day, friends. Bye.